Hey everyone, and welcome to Cinadome, a podcast that teaches our viewers everything production related, where you'll learn the steps on how to make the most out of your budget and create the most compelling movie possible. I'm your host, Andrew Chiaroscuro, and I hope you enjoy. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing producing and the process that I use for finding the right team to tell your story. So the first step in the process for finding your team is creating buzz, getting the word out there, creating ads that you are hiring for an upcoming production. Now you want to make sure you give yourself plenty of time, depending on the length of your film, to hire your team. If you're doing a short film versus a feature film, you don't need possibly as much time to hire your crew. Now, as you go along your filmmaking career, you're going to find certain people that are your go-tos, and therefore will save you tremendous time when finding that role. But let's assume you don't know anybody, and you want to find the right team for your upcoming production. So this is the process. So the first step in the process is creating buzz and placing ads to get the word out that you're hiring for your upcoming production. Sources that I use are Production Hub, Staff Me Up, Craigslist, Instagram, or any other social media platform are great for getting the word out alongside friends or just word of mouth. So the next step in the process is making sure that your ad is as detailed as possible, honest and transparent about the financial limitations of your production and the needs that you will require for that individual applying to do a good job. Filmmaking is a very tough profession, so the last thing that you want to worry about when you're on set is pay or how long someone is required to be on set that day. Now, the first thing you should look at when you get submissions for your production is the individual's IMDb. IMDb stands for International Movie Database, and it is a filmmaker's online resume. The reason why IMDb is a great starting point when looking at any individual that's applying for your production is because it tells you how proactive that filmmaker is, how many films that filmmaker has already done, the quality of films that filmmaker has accomplished, and you can also see things such as pictures, bios, and demos, which make it a very solid starting point. The next step in the process for me is looking at an applicant's demo reel. And the reason why I like looking at a demo reel next is because it gives me a brief history of recent productions that filmmaker was a part of and the quality of productions that that filmmaker is currently making. But more importantly than anything, it tells me about the filmmaker's taste. If I'm looking at a demo reel and I see a filmmaker has many different genres, I can tell that the filmmaker may not necessarily specialize in any one thing. And this is important if you're really looking for an expert. If I had an upcoming action movie and I knew I needed a director of photography that is well versed in the cinematography style of an action movie, it's going to be very important to me and something that I take serious consideration in when looking at their demo reel if everything that I'm seeing is action genre oriented or not. The next step in the judging process for me when I'm looking through applicants is reviewing completed works. Demo reels are great for sparking interest and showing the overarching brief history of a filmmaker, but what they don't tell you is the consistency of quality throughout a production. I want to make sure that whoever I'm hiring every single day when they arrive to set is going to be on their A game. You want to make sure that when you're watching their completed works of art that you're paying attention to the consistency scene by scene, by shot by shot. Coming to one of the final steps in the process for me after I have narrowed down the various candidates based off their demo reel and completed works is making that phone call with that individual and discussing taste and is likable. When you're working on set, most likely they're going to be very long hours. And anyone that is active in filmmaking comes to find out that the most important thing on set isn't the equipment that you have. It isn't the budget that you have. It is the team that you have. Your team becomes your family, and you have to depend on them with all of your being to create excellent works of art. So when you're spending 12 plus hours on set, this family is going to determine whether or not your production, your movie, is going to be successful or not. And the final tip that I'd like to offer viewers and listeners is don't be afraid to ask for references. I see this a lot with filmmakers starting out that get their hands on an individual that's very experienced in a certain position, and they're afraid to ask for references because they don't want to insult that professional. But it's so very important that you find a team, a family that you can rely on, that you can trust beyond a reasonable doubt is going to perform an excellent job within the position that you hire them for. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to listen to more episodes on how to make your best movie. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to help. Let's keep it rolling, guys.